Hi guys, Assalamualaikum, and today we're going to talk about the Eleiko Performance Powerlifting Bar. If you buy a bar from Eleiko, it will come with this cardboard tube, which is pretty hard. It should protect the bar during shipping. Let's say if you have a larger order, then usually they'll put it in a crate, and it won't come with this tube unless you specifically request for it. I won't show the unboxing of this bar because quite honestly, I really don't know how to properly open it. What I do is usually I'll just use brute force. I'll just hammer the ends and to get the cap out. But I'm sure there's an easier way to do it, and I don't know. If you do, please let me know in the comments below. All right, so let's open this up and see what's inside. Okay, I've just taken out the bar from the cardboard tube, and this is the Eleiko Performance Powerlifting Bar. Before I say anything else, I'd like to point out that I'm not a powerlifter, so my perspective is just from the sales point of view, because I do sell these equipments in Asia and also specifically in Malaysia. If you want to see all the specs of the bar, you can just visit www.eleiko.com. I think they have a lot of information there, but I just want to highlight a few things. Hopefully that helps you make a decision in terms of whether or not you want to purchase one of these bars. A lot of people would probably want to get the competition powerlifting bar. Okay, so Eleiko has two types of powerlifting bars, the competition and also the performance, which is this one. I generally would tell the customers that it's better for you to buy the performance powerlifting bar. The reason because, especially in this region where climate is pretty hot and humid, the competition powerlifting bar is raw steel. It's not coated or it's not chromed, and it is more prone to rust than any of the other bars, specifically also this performance powerlifting bar. So this performance powerlifting bar is chromed, and you won't get rust easily, if not at all. So that's one of the main things that I highlight to a customer before they make a purchase. Obviously, if you're a serious powerlifter or if you're a competitive powerlifter, you will want to get a competition bar. But for training purpose, I think this performance powerlifting bar would suit your need just as well. For those of you who are into specs, this bar has a 29 millimeter diameter. The knurling is very aggressive, not much so compared to the rope deadlift bar. That one is super aggressive, but this, compared to the Eleiko weightlifting bars, this is rather aggressive. In terms of bushing, they're using graphite bushing. Honestly, I really don't know what that means, whether that's good or not. You can just research that yourself. All of the current Eleiko bars come with the dust-proof seal. So in terms of maintenance, there's not much that you should do because it is protected from dust. Another thing that I would point out to customers is that between this bar and rope bars, this bar is so much stiffer. If you like something which is more flexible, then this bar is probably not for you. Those are some of the things that I would tell my customers to think about when they purchase the powerlifting bar. Sometimes I do get some customers who are really confused by the many bars that we have, and they don't know how to make the right choice. And I usually go by saying, what are you going to use the bar for? Essentially, you can just buy any bar and then do most of the workouts that you actually need, such as squat, deadlift, bench, rows, maybe some presses and things like that. So any bars in the Eleiko range of bars is sufficient. However, let's say if I find out that they would like to do some cleans or snatches, then the powerlifting bar is not suitable at all. Okay, so that you need a weightlifting bar or at least the XF bar. Now I want to get the input of one of our powerlifters to comment on these two bars as compared to the Eleiko Performance Powerlifting Bar, so that you have an idea of the differences between these bars. Okay, I have here Haris, who will explain to you guys what's the difference between these three bars. Again, let me just reiterate, this is the Rogue deadlift bar, this is the Rogue Ohio power bar, and this is the Eleiko Performance Powerlifting Bar. So Haris, what do you think are the differences of the three bars?
So one thing I need to clear up about the deadlift bar is that it's different from the power bar. So it's a bit like comparing apples to oranges. The deadlift bar is specifically made for the deadlift, and it's not available in some federations. So the most noticeable thing about the deadlift bar is that it has more whip. So when you pull it off the floor, the bar bends a bit, which makes the lift slightly easier. And yeah, so the more whip allows you to deadlift a bit more depending on your technique. So that's one difference from the deadlift bar and the power bar.
You're talking about between the Rogue bars?
Just the deadlift bar, and because this one is the deadlift bar and these two are power bar. So there's a distinction between the deadlift bar and the power bar. Okay. So I don't think Eleiko makes deadlift bars, right? Okay.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. So now if we're talking about the Ohio power bar and the Eleiko, using both quite extensively. So I've used my power bar since it was new, obviously, and also I've also had a chance to use some of the newer, like when I first trained here, the Eleiko power bar was quite new again. So using both new and also now is a bit worn down. I can say that when I first got the Ohio power bar too, the knurling was really aggressive. So
more so than
Eleiko. Yeah, so more so than when Zealfit first opened and I came here and I tried out the deadlift with the power bar. The knurling wasn't as bad. It wasn't as sharp as the Ohio power bar, and not even in a good way. So with the Ohio power bar, even though it was sharper, it didn't really give me like more grip. So it was just sharp for being sharp. And some sessions, it made deadlift a bit of a challenge lah, because I pulled hook grip. So hook grip is like basically where you wrap your thumbs around the bar. So in that aspect, if you're a kind of lifter who you don't prefer to have a knurling as sharp, and if you're uncomfortable with having sharp knurlings, then I would probably go for the Eleiko if it's within your budget. And also notice that the stiffness of the Eleiko is higher compared to the Ohio power bar. So, and you can see, like even from the sleeves, the Eleiko sleeve is smaller, and so the weight is more distributed towards the center. So you really feel it in the squat. I notice when I squat with the Ohio power bar, the bar like whips a bit. I can feel the whip. When I unrack the bar like I can feel like the bar is whipping a bit.
Oh, so the OPB is actually whippier than...
Slightly whippier. I think it's because of the weight distribution, like because the sleeve is bigger again. So the weight ever so slightly more center. I think that's one of the factors. The other factor is probably the stiffness of the bar themselves. Yeah. But with the Eleiko power bar, I unrack the bar, it just feels like a brick on my back. It doesn't budge, no matter how fast I nika. But I do feel like, so if you are like a stronger lifter and you lift heavy weights at home, and you don't want to deal with the whip, I would probably recommend you stick with the Eleiko because it's like really stiff. And if you are someone looking to compete internationally, like if you're in the IPF, then this would closely mimic what's the international standard of competition.
In terms of your personal preference, is there a significant difference if the bar is whippier for squat specifically?
For me, at the stage that I'm at right now, not really, because I'm not lifting weights that would compromise that. If I had a whip, it would compromise my lifting in terms of like being injurious. But if I were lifting like heavy weights, then probably it might have a bigger effect. But I don't know if it's enough to warrant like, I should stay away from the Ohio power bar. And I think maybe even then, probably the whip would be not so crazy. Like if you compare it to just a normal, some non-branded bar, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. I don't think it would be dangerous to squat with the OPB, despite having slightly more whip than the Eleiko. I think apart from that, yeah, I think that's basically it. The knurling.
For benching, is there any difference?
Benching, the only thing that I can imagine is because of how stiff the bar is, and also specifically the way I bench, it takes a bit of toll on my forearms because for my arm length, my grip is wide, and I'm benching with which I'm very efficient, and so I can use load that I'm not supposed to be using it because of how efficient I can be. So it taxes my forearms quite a bit. And I noticed that if I use the Ohio Power Bar, or if I somehow make the load distribution a bit further out, it's not as stressful on my forearms.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not always that I get the pain in my forearms, but when I get deeper into training and some injuries, some pain starts to pop up, then this is like one way. But then you can always work around it by, let's say, adding a collar, and then you just have the bar, just the weight displacement a bit further out lah.
But this is uniquely towards how you...
Yeah, this is just like a specific case that I've experienced myself. I don't think I've ever heard anyone discussing it before lah. So yeah, I think the major difference is the knurling and the stiffness lah. Stiffness, yeah.
Just to sum up again, if you are living in a hot and humid country, I think it's best that you get the performance powerlifting bar instead of the comp bar. Just because that the performance bar is coated, is chromed, and the comp bar is not. Number two is that you need to look at the types of workout that you want to do. If you're doing powerlifting, yeah, so it's a no-brainer. Just get the performance powerlifting bar. And if you want to use it for something else like snatch and cleans, then this is not a suitable bar for it. Thirdly, you need to understand that the Eleiko powerlifting bars are very stiff, and they are 29 mm in diameter. So some of the, if I'm not mistaken, the Ohio Power Bar by Rogue is 28. The deadlift bar by Rogue as well is 27. Each has its different specs and whatnot. So that's something that I encourage you to go on the respective websites and read the specs for yourself. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I'll try to answer them as much as I can. And I hope that you do get the Eleiko Performance Powerlifting Bar. If not this, some other Eleiko bar. And I'll leave my contact details in the in the description below as well. Thanks again for watching. I really appreciate your support. If you haven't liked or subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe to the channel. And please click like if you like this video. If not, leave a comment. Let us know what we can do better and what you want to see from us in the future. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.